Today I'm going to help you to understand the little known elements of a transformation. I'm going to show you the 3 steps to turn problems into solutions. This is what I teach to our master life coaches, transformational agents and trainers. For example, how does one move from poor to rich, or depressed to happy, or failing to flourishing, social anxiety to become a social butterfly? These are extreme examples, contrasts, though I have personally witnessed and helped thousands of people achieve these seemingly miraculous transitions. I've helped people just like you to think beyond their problems and into solutions, because that's what I do. I'm a brain untrainer. And so I've helped people with anxiety to be calm, employees to become entrepreneurs, job seekers to become job finders. I've even helped people to become millionaires, because anything is possible with the right sort of thinking. If it's been done, it can be done again by modeling the actual thinking, not just the strategies and behaviors, because your thinking determines it all. What I'm about to share with you comes from tens of thousands of hours of research, study, practice, and proof. Since 2004, I've been teaching and coaching my students and clients to burst through the boundary conditions of their thinking. The path from depression to happy, for example, is a series and sequence of internal, that is the thinking, and external representations, how we think in one's mind, that creates a specific and measurable outcome. Our brains are not unlike a computer that completely defies its previous capability with a simple software upgrade. To truly transform, we must make the greatest change in not just our minds, but deep within our brain. Like a tree, the quality of our fruit is determined by its roots. Change needs to be deep and permanent. So why merely focus on the conscious mind when our actual programming is found in our neurons, and these are not only found in our heads? Science has now confirmed extensive research that our heart and our gut are 2 brains that actually govern our behavior. The HeartMath Institute has documented many extensive findings confirming that the heart actually communicates with the brain more than the brain talks to the heart. It does this essentially in 4 ways. Firstly, via neurological communication, which is essentially your nervous system, for example. Equally, biophysical communication, which is essentially the pulse waves, and you can basically feel that in your pulse. The biochemical communication, which is your hormones that certainly create a lot of your feelings, and certain behaviors, of course, that are pre-coded in those hormones, and your energetic communication, which is essentially electromagnetic fields. And there's much less research on the last one of those than there is on the first 3. However, I assure you that electromagnetic fields also have a major influence in how we think and how we feel. After years of practical transformational coaching experience, I've discovered that if your client's heart is not in it, they're not truly invested, and they don't have an intelligent strategy, one that they can actually believe in, and they haven't got the guts to actually take action, then transformation is impossible. So how do you turn the impossible into possible? Here's my proven 3-step formula to deliver a neurological and life-changing turnaround. I call it my transformational AD. AD stands for accept, decide, detach. And I'd like to share this with you in detail today. The best way to learn this is to think of a problem. I'd like you to think of a real and specific problem that you have. Go ahead and just choose your biggest. Why not? Let's make this a major breakthrough. Choose your biggest issue, just one issue, and we'll focus on it. And I'll take you through the transformational AD process. If you need to, pause this video just for a moment, grab a pen and a paper and write down your biggest problem, and then hit play again on the video. And once you've done and ready to continue. Now I'm going to take you through the AD process, focusing only on one problem at a time. You can review this video at any time you like and focus on another problem later if you like. But for now, to be effective, let's just focus on one issue. Let's begin now. To ensure that my client's heart is engaged and invested in the process, the accept process is initiated. It's the very first step. That's the A in the AD. Now I've discovered that non-acceptance of an issue is the core reason that people don't transform. We'll know this as denial, distraction, or complete overwhelm. In other words, we haven't truly accepted the problem, nor have we accepted our part in perpetuating it. So here is how to accept your problem, and it's a most necessary step of transformation. To accept your problem, I would like you to state your problem in the most clear and succinct way possible. For example, don't write "I'm unhappy." Write why you're unhappy. Be specific. The reason most people are unhappy, for example, is because they haven't detailed what happy looks like, sounds like, feels like, and what they're specifically doing that makes them happy. So chunk your problem down, get into the detail of it first, and then write it in one clear, succinct sentence. As Charles Kettering once said, "A problem well stated is a problem half solved." Charles Kettering, by the way, was an American employed by General Motors and the inventor of Juco, which is the paint for automobiles, and Freon gas for air conditioning, today's not so popular CFCs. So stating a problem clearly, simply, helps us to understand it beyond the stories that we tell ourselves on a regular basis. It helps us to separate from the actual beliefs that lock our problems deep into our neural pathways and neural programs. Writing our problems down on paper in a succinct sentence turns us into our own observer, if you like. You know, looking at ourselves from an alternate perspective, without judgment or feeling bad about our problems. This is the first step to transformation. So be sure to write your problem down. Perhaps, again, pause this video while you do that. Don't rely on memory, because this process is extensive. You'll be following many steps as you go through this, and you need to follow every step precisely if you want to succeed in transforming your problem today. Now, I'm sure that you're clever, I'm sure that you've got the intelligence you need, and from time to time you skip steps and work it out yourself. However, if you could have solved this problem yourself, you would have done it by now. So perhaps skipping steps is why you have the problem in the first place. So let's stick to the steps one by one. So go ahead and pause the video now and write down your problem in the most succinct way. Welcome back. Now, I'm going to ask you an important question about your problem, and I want you to answer it honestly, of course, in your own privacy. This question will help you to accept full and complete ownership of your problem, because you can only change what you own. So for a moment, I want you to look at the sentence that you've written down on your piece of paper, your problem, well stated, truly own it, and ask yourself, what is this problem honestly costing you? What is the price that you're paying to own this problem? I'm sure you've just realized why most people don't like to own their problem. Be your best accountant and think deeply and honestly about what your problem is costing you. Financially, health-wise, what is it costing you in your relationships, or your career, or potential promotions that you may be missing out on? What it's costing your friends or your family? What is the tally of the energetic toll that it's taking on you? How does it negatively affect you spiritually? Don't sugarcoat this. Seriously consider the price of your problem. I worked with a gentleman many years ago who had a problem with his wife. Until we did this step and he realized he was about to divorce. He would have lost up to 70% of his assets, access to his children, the comfort of his own home, his holiday home. He would have lost energy and motivation to do his work, lost some of his dearest friends, and his list went on and on. It was almost miraculous how quickly his problem with his wife improved as it became his problem and no longer his wife's. I assure you that the blame game is one of the most costly games you can play. Now, how much is this problem costing you? The truth is, it's all going to be guesswork. It really is. So do your worst work first. Give it your best guess. What is the problem costing you? Financially, is it costing you or losing you money? Health-wise, is it making you sick? What is it costing your relationships, your career? Are you not being your best? Your family and friends, is there a loss? What energetic toll is it taking from you now? How does it negatively affect you spiritually? Now, here's my next question. Now that you're owning your problem and much more aware of what it's costing you, will you commit to fixing it? Is it worth fixing? Now that you know the cost of it, what would you pay to fix it? Now, write down the total cost of your problem. Your best guess, round it up or down if you put it in a financial sense. And now, write down what you would pay to fix it and subtract the price of the problem from the cost to fix it. Now, that's almost complete ownership. We're not there yet. We need to make sure that you own your problem 100%, because unless you do, you're still in the blame game. People who fix their problems and make the biggest transformations fully own their problems 100%, because they know this fact, and that is that you are the only person who can truly fix this. Sure, I'm helping you, but you are the one that's fully responsible for continuing to work through this with me. You are doing the most work here. I'm just the expert tour guide. We all need guides, but the real adventure begins when you pay the fare and get on the bus you must own each and every step onto that transformational, transportational bus. Is this making sense to you so far? Good. I hope that was a yes. And I'm glad you're getting this and you're still with me. Now, let's move on to the next step, the decide step. Now, in this step, you must make an important decision about who you are going to be in this process and what you're going to do about your problem. When it comes to transformation, there are two types of who. Some people are transformers and others are informers. Before you decide which group you're a part, let me share a little bit about their personalities first. The informers love hearing about people and things and are a little like parrots. They repeat what they've immersed themselves in most. They'll tell you lots of stuff. They're informers after all. They have lots of stories and frankly, they mostly enjoy drama because there isn't much going on in their lives. So they live vicariously through others. They watch drama on TV, news, they'll tell you about who's doing what to whom. They sometimes even create dramas in their social groups, perhaps stirring the pot and getting reactions. Why? Because they're stifled, sometimes lacking a vision, inactive in their own lives. So they need to live their lives through others. It's not a criticism, it's a choice. Transformers, on the other hand, are easily bored by drama. They've got too much else to do. They view drama as a waste of time typically, and they prefer getting things done, achievements, completion, solutions, and typically they value progress and growing as a person, sometimes in all areas of their lives and often focused in just one area. You know, they tend to be very, very good at one particular thing. Now, it doesn't really matter which one you are, an informer or a transformer. But if you're going to solve or resolve your problems, you must decide. You must make a crucial decision to be a transformer. So, how do you do that? The first thing that you need to do is to decide that your problem is going, and the perfect person to relinquish it is you. You, the transformer. This means that you've got to give your problem nothing more, and we'll talk about that in the final step, detach. But instead, give your all to solutions and only solutions, or as we call it, the not problem. So if you're in and you want the problem out, then it's time for a written commitment and a real and active decision. So on your notepad or paper in front of you, I would like you to write the following words. I, your name, make a written agreement with myself to do what it takes to get rid of my problem for good. Which is, now state your sentence, your problem. This old problem will no longer be part of my life or my identity by, and now put the date. Now, all of this is in preparation for the final and most important step, and that is to detach completely. And if you're really committed to get rid of your problem, I promise you that I'll do everything possible to help you. I'll even give you a whole bunch of free resources at the end of this video. Now, the first two steps, accept and decide, might seem to have done little in removing the problem, but I promise you, those who miss those two vital steps are in for no surprise. They'll get to keep their problems. Make no mistake, accepting your problem and deciding to remove it are key in your transformation. And after working personally with thousands of people around the world, I can tell you in the first 15 minutes if I can work with someone and truly transform them. What I'm looking for is I'm looking for complete and full responsibility, that is full acceptance, and a real decision to transform. When I have those two things, I can then work with that person and help them to transform because I've got commitment. Now, for the final step, to detach. To truly detach from a problem is not denial. Therefore, you wouldn't really be accepting the problem now, would you? Detach is all about disconnecting from three elements. And those three elements are: 1, the linguistics of the problem; 2, the neurology that maintains the problem; and finally 3, the patterns and programs which all lead us to behave in problematic ways, and so perpetuates the results we don't want. Now, let me share the rules of disengagement to detach. In the next 30 days, your job is to detach your associated linguistics that keeps the problem intact. In other words, no stories about the problem. Stop telling people about your problem. Stop competing by comparing your problem to other people's problems. Detach from the stories that keep you stuck or strapped to the problem. Stop even thinking about the problem. Only think about the solutions and nothing else. Be focused with this. In the next 30 days, your job is also to detach from your associated neurology that keeps the problem intact. In other words, train your brain to think in solutions. Expect a different outcome. Expect a solution. If your problem surrounds other people, even expect different behavior from them. Don't force it. Just expect it to, just expect to be surprised. Expectation is a powerful force. It dictates our behavior and influences even the people around us. I've written a number of books about this. So this topic is very, very deep and certainly wide. So I won't cover it completely here, of course. Training your brain to think in solutions takes some work. After all, you've probably been thinking in problems for decades already. So this will take some energy and certainly some focus. An easy way to do this is to allow yourself to take on an archetype. As you think about solutions to your problems. All problems are linear. It's kind of this plus this plus this equals that. So you need to think like someone else and take your thinking into multi-dimensional pathways. At the risk of offending your religious beliefs, and I'm not meaning to at all, ask yourself, what would God, Muhammad, Allah, Buddha, the universe, or whatever you believe in, think of this problem? So, what solution would they devise? This helps you to get out of your problematic thinking. I call this multi-dimensional thinking, and it's the kind of thinking that doesn't just remove problems, as it helps you to find solutions. It also helps you to discover opportunities. For example, check out my YouTube video called My $1 Billion Degree, and I'll give you a sense of what you can actually create with this level of thinking. And you'll get a sense, of course, of what is possible for you. Finally, start a list and write down as many solutions as you can to fix the problem. Aim for 100 or more. Now this might sound like a lot, but you'll most likely solve your problem by the time you get to number 42. Now, to summarize. 1. Stop the stories about your problem. 2. train your brain to think in solutions. 3, think in multi-dimensional ways. What would God or a wise archetype do in context of the problem? 4, expect better outcomes. And 5, start a list of 100 solutions to your problem. Now, if you find it a challenge to think beyond your problem, then let's cover this in the final part of the video. To truly detach from your problem, I did say that we needed to detach from 3 elements, and I covered 2 of them. The linguistics, the neurology, and the third one, which I never covered, was the patterns and the programs, which all lead a person to behavior and so outcomes or not outcomes. We haven't covered this third part yet, but if all I've shared with you doesn't fix your problem, then it means that your problem goes much, much deeper. It's locked in deep into your neurology somehow. It's become part of your unconscious neural patterns and your programs. So here is what I would suggest. I'm going to give you 2 options, a free option and a fee option. So try the free first. I put a host of transformational tools and videos in one big free grab bag, and you can get them now. There's free books, there's videos, there's trainings, there's even some deep meditational audios that have helped thousands of people to detach from their limited thinking patterns and programs, and may just do the trick. They're all there for you anyway, and I'll put a link in this video's description down the very bottom, and that's a place that you can go. You just complete a form, which I think it asks for your name and email, and that's it, and you can grab all of those resources, and there are many, many resources in there to help you. The fee option is to work one-on-one with a coach like me, and I'll give you a link for a complimentary conversation. Once you've completed the short questionnaire, my office will arrange a time for you to chat with me on video personally. And I'll ask you a lot of questions to see how I can help you to personally to transform and shift your problem, or professionally perhaps. That's the second option. So I hope I've helped to add some value to your thinking and so shift your problems. My name is Rick Schnabel, and I wish you and your family a magical life beyond limits. Bye for now.